said you end up being an Oreo because you're raising your children at the same time you're also kind of raising your parents who in their advancing age are kind of reverting back to childhood. I thought about it for a minute and I said to my wife, you know what this means? This means we got two that are out of diapers and two that are going into them. And as bad as it was with the little ones, I don't think it's going to be any more fun with the big ones. I don't want to be sitting there watching football with my father-in-law going, Ed, don't you lie to me, Ed. But I got to thinking about this. There's a lot of similarities between kids and seniors. Like they both have their own special menu at restaurants. They both get discount tickets at the movie theater. You have to worry about both groups taking drugs. Yeah, it's not just kids. Seniors get a hold of some good stuff. Last time we were with my in-laws, I mentioned that my sinuses were kind of stopped up. And my mother-in-law said, do you want to stop the sniffles or not fill your head? She goes in her purse, pulls out a Ziploc, looks like it has Skittles in it, takes out this tiny green pill and says, say hello to my little friend. I took the thing, I woke up 2 days later laying in the backyard talking to Elvis. She's at the door going, get up, you baby, I'll take 4 of those and drive to the grocery store. The kids don't listen to you, the seniors can't hear you. My mother-in-law has a hearing aid that she hardly ever wears because she thinks it doesn't look good. Which is, we all know it's the reason they give you a hearing aid. But you can always tell when she doesn't have it in because if she's not wearing it, she talks louder than anybody on the planet. They come to visit at Christmas time. We go out to the movies, stand in line at the movie theater. She tapped me on the shoulder and said, don't look now, but the man behind us is cross-eyed as a bat. Which is bad for 2 reasons. 1, you are embarrassed to death. And 2, when somebody says something like that, you gotta look, yeah. Turn around, this guy is glaring at me. Well, he may not have been glaring at me, but he was glaring at somebody. We talked about the kids wear their pants where they're falling off. The seniors wear theirs around their armpits. My father-in-law got his chest hair caught in his zipper. How do you do that? And I look at them and I think, oh God, I'm next. It's going to be me. You know, because in your mind, you're always 20 years old, but the calendar doesn't lie. This is like when I first started doing comedy, I did routines about my dad and his recliner. And now I have a recliner. And I understand what the old man was on to. Because I get in it, I ain't getting out of it. I just wait till I hear somebody walking through the house like, hey, I hear somebody walking back there. Do me a favor, make me a sandwich, would you? I think I smell smoke. Is the house on fire? This was sad. One day my wife had 2 or 3 friends over and they're hanging around the kitchen and they're talking about this and that. But they get to talking about this product called Astroglide. And it's got a couple of fans. It's a lubricant they sell in the drugstore, and apparently it's really good. I mean, to hear them talk about it, you could put it on a Cadillac and get it in a doghouse. But as they're talking about it, I swear to you, my first thought was, I bet I could put that on the poles the bird feeders are on and keep the squirrels off of it. That's just sad. Because once you cross that 50, like Bill Engvall and I were talking about, Bill and I both crossed 50, and 50 is a weird age. Because, like, I don't feel 50. I mean, I feel like I'm 35 or something. But 50 is well, you know, first of all, when you turn 50, they're going to throw you a party. But you know you're not going to get real presents. You get the gag gifts. The giant boxes of brand cereal and the 6-pack of reading glasses and the hemorrhoid ointment, and everybody's laughing. And I'm thinking, yeah, y'all just saved me a trip to the store. But here's the weird thing about 50 is all of a sudden, because you've hit this age, they want you to have medical tests done to you that you've never even thought about. And last year, my cute little wife scheduled me my very first colonoscopy. By applause, how many people have had the joy of this experience? Good for you, and you should do it because it'll save your life. For those of you, some of you may not know what I'm talking about. Let me break it down. In the Latin, the word colon means intestine. The word oscopy means to attach a camera to the end of a garden hose and ram it through. I think that's what oscopy means. Anyway, there's 3 steps to a colonoscopy. The first step is the pre-surgery consultation, which you do a couple of weeks before the actual procedure. And let me say this. Pay attention during the consultation. And I say that not because I did, but because I didn't. The second step is the day before preparation, because before they put this camera through you, they want you totally cleaned out. Now, my wife bought all the ingredients for the preparation. She put them on the kitchen counter, but she wasn't home that afternoon, so she kept texting me. Now, remember, at 3 o'clock, you're supposed to start the preparation. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the first part of the preparation was you were supposed to mix 64 ounces of Gatorade with 10 large packets of Miralax. Now, the back of one packet of Miralax says, may cause loose and watery stools. 10 large packets of Miralax is guaranteed to clean out the Alaska pipeline. Now, if I had paid attention during the consultation, I would have remembered you were supposed to spread the 64 ounces over a period of 3 hours. I still don't remember hearing that part. So I mix it all together and I down that 64 ounces in 8 minutes and 34 seconds. And I know because I've timed myself. Now the only thing left remaining on the counter is a bottle of something called magnesium citrate. 2 drops of this stuff will pull the Eiffel Tower out of the earth. But I remember the doctor saying everybody had to drink half the bottle, and some people might have to drink the whole bottle. And I thought, well, I don't want to have to come back later and do this all over again. So I popped the top, hold my nose, and I downed the whole thing. Now, in just over 10 minutes, I have completed a preparation procedure that is supposed to take 4 hours. And not long after that, my stomach started making some noises. It sounded kind of like the fireplace in the Amityville Horror. Run to the bowels, run to the bowels, run to the bowels. Get out. At which point my underwear tapped me on the shoulder and said, run. The first volley took my feet off the ground. I was physically afraid. And I watched a lot of rodeo. The only thing I could think to do was put a glove on my left hand, get some rope, tie myself to the seat, and hold on. I passed everything I've ever eaten in my entire life. I passed things I had only thought about eating. I passed things my neighbors had eaten. I passed a red bicycle we keep in the garage. And 1 hour later, what was coming out of me was so pure it could be legally declared mountain spring water. And I was ready for my test. So the next morning, I get up, I go down to the doctor's office. Now this was the part I was dreading the most, the actual procedure. It ended up being the easiest of the 3 steps. Thanks to a little IV they give you with Demerol in it. Buddy, they put that needle in me. My last conscious thought was, I bet my doctor has a camera on her cell phone and I'm going to be on TMZ tonight. I was out. When I woke up, she was standing there. She's like, hey, it's all over. And I was like, oh, good. I didn't even know you did it. She's like, yeah, everything was great. You don't have to do this again for 5 more years. I'm glad. She left, and I'm sitting up on the side of the bed, and I got that little hospital gown on, and I see my jeans and my shirt folded up at the end of the bed, so I reach down and grab my shirt, and I start to unbutton it to put it on, and I hear a woman's voice say, what are you doing? I turn around, there's a nurse in the corner. I hadn't even noticed her. I said, I guess I'm going home. She said, guess again. I said, what's the problem? She said, well, in order to get the camera through you, they have to inflate your intestines with air, and you can't go home until you give the air back. I said, okay, I will. And she said, well, I have to verify that you do. At which point I noticed she's holding a pen and a clipboard. And I remember career day in high school. Nobody told us you could get paid good money to rate farts on a clipboard. Because I have friends that do that all the time for free. But here's the problem. I grew up in the South. My mother taught me never to do that in front of a woman. Especially a woman I don't know. And so even though I really have to do what she wants me to do, I can't. I lock up. And she's getting frustrated because she's got other stuff she needs to do. And she said, come get back in the bed. She said, get on all 4s and drop your shoulders to the mattress. Feeling like a big star right about that. But as soon as I get in that position, I can tell this is going to work. And here was my thought process. I thought, well, if I'm going to embarrass myself in front of this woman I don't know, why not do like I did with the preparation and just get it all over with at one time? So I thought back to my wife's childbirth classes and that breathing they taught her. And I did the big push just like they showed her to do. And what came out of me was so loud and so long, Fred Flintstone clocked out from work. And I said, can I go home now? She said, please do. So the rest of you have that to look forward to. Now here's the other thing about turning 50 was when I was a kid, I used to think somebody that was 50 or older, they were like a fountain of knowledge that you could go and drink from. And then I turned 50 and I went, well, that is not the deal. Because I don't know anything. It's like, are you smarter than a 5th grader? If they didn't give me the blue cards, that would be the shortest show in the history of television. First question would pop up, do you know the answer? Nah, neither do I. Good night, everybody. We had a lady, she had a 3rd grade grammar question, and it was something about an antonym. And she said, oh, I remember there were homonyms and synonyms and antonyms. She said, but I can't remember the difference in them. Can you use it in a sentence? My Aunt Nim came over for Christmas dinner.